thrive here. We're hoping to be able to reach out to people from all across the world and have them at some time send some sacred or blessed item and create like an altar space here so that people, from across the world can send in their sacred item and include it in the altar, even if they are not able to be here in person. They can let us know that they're here in spirit, or even if they're there where they are doing what we're doing and starting up their own Occupy or their own protest based on these ideas. There's a sense of cross-pollination. Even the people that are here are, personally, I'm learning so much about how this is being operated. I would be excited if when the time came that Dawn and I decided to leave, but the Occupy was still going on. Don't be surprised if we begin occupying Williamsport somewhere in a peaceful manner. This is the idea. This is everybody needs to see what we're doing here because it's a transformation. People want to label it. This is the challenge. With all the media that is being presented here. They want to put standard or historically standard labels on what we're doing, calling us radicals or left-wing or nut jobs or, hippies, trust fund kids camping in a park. But it's far from that. This is a movement based on consciousness. And the people who are trying to label and make sense of what we're doing here are entire, are at a disadvantage as they attempt to describe what's going on here. And the disadvantage is that they perhaps haven't spent enough time to cultivate their consciousness, and so they're unable to identify what we're actually doing here. And they have to fall back on the ignorant regurgitation of previous phrasing from previous protests, from previous generations. And while those protests and generations have been working towards consciousness and perhaps have been helping us in developing the language for that consciousness, this is a culmination of all of history. I mean, there's always been a faction that's interested in consciousness in every culture across the entire globe, in every generation, in every era. You can find evidence of people having an idea of consciousness, sometimes stronger than we have it today. This just happens to be the time in our zeitgeist when it's coming back again, and these are the people that are trying to represent that consciousness shift. It's unfortunate that we're being labeled by people who are reluctant to give us the respect that this deserves. It's like, I'm trying to think of what Dawn said yesterday. She made a really brilliant quote. She said, right now, we as a human civilization are waking up. There's a disaster approaching, and human consciousness, the natural alarm is going off. The alarm clock of human consciousness is going off. And all of these reporters and the corporates, donations to the NYPD or to the media to arrest us and stifle our voices is just somebody's attempt at hitting the snooze on the alarm clock. Unfortunately for them, the people who are awake and did hear the first call are now brewing a giant cup of coffee. And the people who approach, waking up, it's going to be harder and harder to put us back to sleep. Because we're beginning to put the caffeine of consciousness in these people, and it is addictive to see, people from all walks of life I gave hugs to about a dozen people yesterday. I don't even know how to speak their language. So you can't limit yourself when you're pursuant of conscious development to boundaries, simple boundaries like language. People think that that's such a big deal. The language of consciousness is something that we can all connect to. And, once we are connected, regardless of whether or not we are able to share our ideas with common language, it's going to be overcome.
Powerful words, man. We also found today that the 700 people that were arrested on the bridge were let go today as part of that revolving door process that you guys must go through.
Yeah.
Did they enter a main camp area? Did you notice anyone talking about being released?
I met many people yesterday who had been arrested and released. I believe in a previous interview that we had, I had mentioned that there was speculation of a donation by J.P. Morgan Stanley to the NYPD Blue. That speculation has been confirmed. It's actually... Hold on.
The newspaper group! Anyone around?
Okay. So it has been confirmed. It's actually audaciously posted right on J.P. Morgan Stanley's website that they granted $4.8 billion million dollars to the NYPD.
4.6.
4.6. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been confirmed, and we've been investigating as to where that money is actually being used. And it seems that 1,000 of those, or portion of the money, is going into purchasing about 1,000 laptops for mass booking in their interceptor vehicles. And the rest of the money is being put into a giant database system. So it's becoming clear that they're preparing for mass arrests and profiling of the people who are out here occupying Wall Street. So these arrests, when you start arresting people in the hundreds and nearing the thousands, you're not interested in actually keeping anybody. You're just wasting taxpayer money. But from their perspective, they're trying to profile everybody who's out here and get information on who our friends are, what we're doing, what our backgrounds are, what our skill sets are, and how radical we actually are. So it's kind of terrifying, kind of be expected with the state of technology today, and it's certainly the MO of at least J.P. Morgan to defend themselves from impending consciousness.
And so we march on.
They can't stop us now.
Nope.
I mean, come on, 40,000 people showing up is, we are reaching a tipping point. We are approaching, rather.
So what do you expect for the rest of today? Do you have any expectations for what the rest of the day will be like?
Well, today there seems to be an influx of reporters like we haven't seen yet. Or at least like I haven't seen yet. I'm seeing a lot more of the bigger name media stations here, NBC, Fox News, many local stations, in addition to international stations.
Right now, you need to be a team. I'm ready to be a team. You got to be a center. You have to be a center. You have a meeting. You have a meeting. You know who you are. You know who you are. Please stop legislating. Please stop legislating. Thank you. Thank you.
It sounds like I may be having to go to a meeting here. But to finish my thought, We are continuing to pursue the logistical organization of things going on here.